England are through to the semi-final of Euro 2024. Somehow, I don't quite know how, but we are. The same old questions remain though for Gareth and the boys, and we've also got a giveaway for you guys. This is going to be given away to one of you lucky people out there, signed by me or the boys. Get yourself over to the cyclinggk.com website. We'll put a link in the description down below. Somebody's going to win it. Let's get into it.
Right, Fozzie, before we get going, you are sounding a little bit hoarse today.
Yep.
Was it fair to say you got stuck in with the fans last night?
We all got stuck in the fans, didn't we, to be honest with you? It was hard not to. It was a great atmosphere. The England fans really give it a good go. We were at a different game the night before, weren't we? We were at the France-Portugal game. When it's not your team that's playing, when there's not that much on the line for you, you don't get me wrong, you enjoy the game, but you're not really into it, are you? No. Last night, we were really into it.
Yeah, there wasn't like pints of beer and piss flying around like there was at the England game, was there?
Mate, when we scored that equaliser, honestly, I know as a football fan, right, I get why people live for the weekend, they live for those moments, you know, for 70 odd minutes last night, it was a tough watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Be honest, it was a tough watch for 70 minutes. But when Saka scored that equaliser, the joy on everybody's faces, the energy levels rose, you get that tingling kind of butterfly sensation, and that is what football fans live for. And then obviously going into penalties and winning it that way, that's what football's all about.
Yeah, how did you find the experience last night, Watto?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit like Ben. For 70 minutes, it was kind of a game of chess. Not much happened, if truth be told, but the experience of the moment, which we all live for, that moment, Saka really scoring out of the blue, and then the fans just erupting and the emotion, just honestly crazy. I'm not a guy who likes to waste beer, so I'm kind of quite shocked that they throw it everywhere. Yeah, but I was like drowning in it. But yeah, just the pure emotion. And I think actually for the fans, it was a moment of utter relief. And I'm not quite sure why they throw beer or why they do it, but I don't think they expected that goal. And it came from absolutely nowhere. But the joy in that millisecond of a moment, and then actually, obviously, that's somehow transmits to the team. And we were on the front foot, certainly for the last few moments of the game.
Yeah, it was nice to see Super Jill Scott sat behind us with a retro David Beckham shirt on as well.
Yeah,
so.
Those retro David Beckham and Gascoigne shirts. I don't know if they're getting them from some like proper bookie websites or something like that, but everybody's got them, haven't they? Everybody has got a Beckham or a Gascoigne one or a Shearer one, and you can tell that they ain't OG. There's no way I'm the same.
Absolutely.
I ain't having it.
Watto, talk to us about the shape. So tactically, I felt like at the start of the game, well, and towards the end of the game, we weren't quite right. But if you can talk us through the shape and what we did.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, from the game before, we know Mark Guehi was suspended, so we had to naturally make a change. But I think if you look at the tactics of the game, I think from the England perspective, when we went to a back three, and actually the reality is we matched the Swiss team up, so we played exactly the same shape as them. So tactically, it's kind of a safe message, because we're not going to get beat tactically by them being better than us or their positioning being slightly different. So we've matched up, and in my opinion, you're basically saying by matching up that our 11 is going to be better than your 11, and it's not going to be a tactical battle. It were a game of chess, because basically you end up man for man all over the field, because you are like you are. The overloads for both teams were that you'd got 3v1 at the back. But ultimately, because both teams played with two narrow 10s, if you like, when they're on the front foot, then you've got three guys on their back three, and then it's wing back against wing back. So it's 5v5 at the back. Your two sitters are here, and who's best at that game? That's the reality.
The only problem with that, though, as well, though, is that they're used to playing that formation. Yeah. So it's fair enough to say that individually we've probably got better players in those positions, but as a team, they're used to doing that. They're well drilled in doing that, and I think that's the way that the game played. They were the better team, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought they were the better team, and you're 100% right. Obviously, that's something they've done, played many times. England get through the last round against Slovakia. We finish with a back three. Very little training time to say, right, here we go, we're going to play a back three again. Did you think that we needed to protect Konza a little bit? I'm not so sure. I thought he did
great.
okay in the
Great,
game.
yeah.
Obviously, we think Guy has been the standout performer in the tournament for us so far, which probably tells us a little bit where we're at. But then you look at it, playing Saka on the right there, is that then a tactical masterstroke from Southgate? Because obviously the goal comes from him being high, stepping inside, and one shot on 78 minutes, something like that, and it's in off the post. And here we are, we're talking this morning, we're in a semi-final.
I think that's very kind to even suggest it's a tactical masterclass, because from my point of view, we went to the Portugal-France game the night before, Ben, and we looked at like the wide players, like Leao, for example, was just gunning for him. You know, he was at his fullback time and time again, getting joy, and that's I think the one thing that we've missed during this tournament is our kind of meant to be wider players taking someone on, like you said, going man for man, Watto, but we're not kind of standing up a man and going, right, let's go for it. No. But Fozzie, you kind of had made the point last night about saying, like, it's almost, we're just reactive, aren't they? So it's only when we have a bit of adversity, i.e. going 1-0 down, that the lads just kind of sparked into life.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We need a spark on the pitch to get us going, and that spark always seems to come from the opposition scoring a goal. In the last game against Slovakia, it weren't till they scored that we kind of actually went, right, we need to sort of let the shackles go a little bit here and we need to attack. That's when you see the best of England. You do. Yeah. You see the best of England when that happens, and when they scored their goal last night. Again, fair play to the England fans. The England fans, phenomenal. They've had to sit through 70 minutes. They've just gone and scored a goal, Switzerland, but not for a second did we stop singing or getting behind. And the moment that we started to get any sort of like ground up the pitch again, the fans were willing us on, egging us on at the pitch. And then when Saka scores that goal. But for that 10-minute period from them scoring a goal to us scoring, and for about 5 minutes afterwards, it was, that's what I live for. Honestly, that is what England fans live for, isn't it, lads? It is incredible. It's 10 minutes of just pure, we're going to just go and score 6 or 7 goals. That's what it felt like. Yeah, shackles are off, players going for it, willing to take players on, willing to make overlapping runs. A bit of sort of bravery to do those balls in behind or through people or through the lines. They're the bits there that, like you say there, we watched the game the night before, France versus Portugal, and that happened every minute of the game. There was somebody willing to try and beat their man or play that cutting ball through the lines, and we just didn't see it for 80 minutes last night.
So is that a case of we're 1-0 down, the playbook goes out the window? So like the question is this a player thing, or is it quite obviously a managerial thing?
It's a bit of everything. It's a mentality thing, first and foremost, is because if they would have started the game like that, England, right, you could tell if somebody starts a game like that. If England start a game like that and they're getting up in their faces and they're pressing really high and they're like shutting down and like rogue players are going from midfield and pressing and left wings are pressing, then the fans feed off that, right? The fans go, oh my gosh, we're up for this today. Do you know what I mean? How many games have you been to before where you've watched a team and gone, they're on it today, look at them today, they've got to they're doing this today. So we can do it, it's just that the way that we approach every single game it's like a boxing match. It's like, let's just feel each other out. You have a little, we'll have a little. But it's not a big, long corkscrew. It's not a big uppercut. It's a tiny little, you're right.
Little jab.
Little jab.
Right. Yeah. And it lasts for 70 minutes with England. And it's painful at times. It really, really is. Because you can just tell that it's not really giving it a go. It's almost waiting for them to get tired and a big opportunity to happen by a mistake or something, not by us just doing it with a bit of brilliance.
But we keep saying, like, Watto, like every game, so obviously we've said in the knockout stages, listen, second we come up against someone half decent, they're going to play us off the park. Then we get through to the knockouts and it's, right, next game, we need to step this up. And then it was the Swiss dispatched of the Italians, they're going to do this, we keep nicking it. We keep grinding it out.
Yeah, we keep nicking it somehow, but tournament football's like that. And for all the negativity we could have, you've still got to be sat here in the cold light of day this morning thinking, we're now in a semi-final, and surely at one point we're going to let the shackles off. But it's like Ben's alluded to there. I think if you start a game and you're really on that front foot and set your stall out in 5 or 10 minutes, and the opposition will be like, this is not the England we thought. We thought it'd just be a simple start, 15 minutes, not much happen. But if you really go for them, because we spent a lot of time with the fans yesterday, and irrespective of the result, I think what they really wanted what to see us be brave, get rid of all the negativity, and just really get on the front foot and go for it. And if we'd have got beat playing front foot football, I think they'd have accepted it, and if everybody had run and emptied the tank and everybody were full gas, because you've got so many options on the bench now, you can do your full gas, make your changes. But I think the fans, look, are they going to be happier if we'd have gone full gas and got beat? Probably not. But I think they want to be enthused. I think you can't wait till 70, 75 minutes for something to happen. You know, we watched the game the night before, Germany against Spain. It's 0-0 at half-time. Both managers make changes at half-time. Germany make 2 changes, Spain make 1 change, and that's a game that's drifting at 0-0. So they don't get to 60, 70 minutes and think, what do I do now? At half-time, we spoke about it in previous shows, make your changes, make your tactical little switches in the privacy of your own dressing room, and right, bang, we're going for it. You're sending a message. We just drift to points, and it really is credit to the players that when you make them changes and the fear's gone because you're 1-0 down, there is nothing to lose, and the other team naturally take a breath and step back. It's allowed us to get back in these games.
I totally agree with what you say there. Well, I think with that much talent on the bench, right? If you've got a bench where it's not got brilliant players on, then I understand playing that style of football and that way of just wait, let's just feel each other out. But when you have got so much talent on the bench, I think as a manager, you could pick 4 or 5 players, right, and go, right, lads, give me an hour today, yeah? And I mean an hour of everything you've got. From the first minute to the 60th minute, you run and you press and you harry and you give everything you've got, empty the tank, right? Because if you get to 60 minutes or 70 minutes or 50, whatever it is, and you are empty, that guy will come on and do it for the remaining 30, 40 minutes for you. I promise you that he will. And it's not a simple case of, you could either press and really go for it and, you might lose. You can have a bit of it all sorts, because I think if England were to do that, we would get so much more success than what we're currently getting. Don't get me wrong, we're getting through games, but if we could get through games and absolutely pop teams off the park and shut them down and get in their faces, oh my God, we would absolutely cruise it.
But just to play devil's advocate here, and this isn't what I'm saying should happen or whatnot, but if you're Gareth Southgate, Holland and the boys in the camp, or the coaching staff in the camp, surely at this point they're going, well, what we're doing is working. Yeah. So there's an argument to say, will the shackles come off? The shackles have got to come off. In their heads, they're probably going, no, the shackles don't come off because we're winning and it's working. It's
working. We've got away with murder though as well, then, mate.
Oh, honestly, I know that. I'm not suggesting. I'm just.
If we're playing roulette here, we keep hitting that one number that we're betting on. Genuinely, we keep hitting that one number that we're betting on. It is an absolute miracle. It is ridiculous. Like the Slovakia game is that doesn't happen normally. That doesn't happen. The Switzerland game, it's our first shot on target. We weren't even watching when the goal went in because we were like looking at the ground, like wallowing in self pity. We were genuinely. Yeah, sure. It was out of absolutely nothing. If you want to, do you know what? If you want to put a real spin on this and put real positivity, we could talk about the penalties, because the way that we took our penalty, when it went to penalties, by the way, last night, I was absolutely certain we were going to win, because I was very confident that the Swiss players would struggle in that moment, that pressure cooker moment. Whereas I thought the England players would be able to keep their cool a lot better.
We had the toss was won by Kyle Walker, so the penalties were taken at the England game. Then. The second that they were said, we knew that it was being taken at the England game, England end. I thought we're going to win.
We've got this. And Jordan Pickford, a lot is said about Jordan Pickford. Is he England's number one? He is without doubt England's number one. You watch him in the game and sometimes you want to pull your hair out and you just want to say, calm down. You're so theatrical, calm down. But when it comes to a penalty shootout, I don't think I'd have anyone else. Other than Emi Martinez, I wouldn't want to have anybody else other than Jordan Pickford playing.
Well, he's trying the shithousery a bit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Before the penalties. But I was going to ask you a question. Obviously, you've been a player in tournaments, but you've been in penalty shootouts. It's interesting because Pickford has the bottle and he's got all their techers, and obviously, him and the coaches and his goalkeeping coach will have gone bum, 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 bum. But for me, when I would have done that in my previous roles, I would have done all the same in terms of the homework. Probably at the end of the game, I'd have had an iPad and just gone quickly through it with you or whoever I'm working with, and that would have been enough. So would you have been happy from me as a coaching perspective just going through the iPad pre the kicks, or would you have wanted the Pickford thing with the bottle? What would your process have been? Because obviously Pickford still knew where all the guys are going because he's got the list.
Yeah.
But you would have had that information, so you maybe process it different.
Yeah, it's whatever sort of works for you, really. Towards the end of my career, what I used to do is I would just make sure the goalie coach would have that little list. The goalie coach would have the list of dive left, dive right, stay in the middle, or all that kind of stuff. And before each penalty, I would just have a little look at you at the sideline there, and you would give me a right hand means my right, left hand means left, or if you do a centre, it means stay in the centre. It's as simple as that. Yeah. The way he does it though, there's certain players who can go different ways, and when they take their step up or their run up to take the penalty, their body language or their body shape dictates where they're going to put it. And sometimes you need to know those little subtleties, those little nuances where if he does approach it from this angle, he's going to put it there because it's impossible for him to open his hip up and put it there. But there's other times where he does a certain run up and you know he's going to put it the other way. So they're the only times where you might have to just try and use your nous a little bit. But I love it. It always seems to work for Jordan Pickford. Obviously, there's that picture on the internet of it on his bottle. And the penalty that he does save against Akanji, it's dive left.
Yep.
Brilliant. He's obviously doing his homework, and the goalie coach are doing their homework well enough that what they're doing is working.
Fozzie, on Jordan Pickford's bottle, it said about, for a couple of them, I think it said like set and react.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the listeners what exactly that means?
It will probably be because the player that's going to be taking that penalty it'll be like an Ivan Toney almost. He will walk up to the ball, dead calm, almost stutter, and he will wait for you to go first. He'll wait for the goalie to make the move, and if the goalie moves to his left, he'll try and roll it in the right hand side. It's a very risky way of taking a penalty. You watch even Toney do it last night. He is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. But we were saying, weren't we, the pressure on Ivan Toney to take that penalty last night was phenomenal. There were a load of people saying that he was only selected to take a penalty. The only reason why he got into the England team was if it went to penalties, that he could take a penalty and he's guaranteed to score. So he's got a lot of pressure on him. And the way that he just bowled up last night and did what he always does and just puts it right in the corner. Sommer went the right way, by the way. He went the right way, but it's still so far in that corner. It was incredible. So that's what Jordan Pickford would have had on his list there, is set and try and react, because that player will be just watching you. You've got to wait till the last second. Do not make a move. It's almost like a cat and mouse game. I want you to get to the point where that player is putting his head down and just looking at the ball. But that is last second stuff. You've got to wait, stay big, wait for him to get his head down, and then just go left or right. Because if you go early, he'll just roll it in the other corner. Because
I think that's what Sommer had yesterday. I think his message, even though it's not on a water bottle, would have been exactly the same from the Swiss coaching staff and goalie coach. Toney's coming up, give him nothing. And if you can stand and wait, and he's just off on his finish and his technique, you might save it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's cold as ice.
I've had a penalty taken against me from Ivan Toney, and they are. It's like a hurricane, Watto, yeah? You know what's coming, but there's nothing you can do about it, all right? Genuinely, there's nothing you can do about it. He just bowls up dead calm. He is looking at you, and he just waits for you to either melt and go another way, or even if you do go the right way, it's still so far in the corner,
you
ain't saving it.
I don't know if the referees have had a brief of the tournament to kind of stop the shithousery from goalkeepers, but Jordan Pickford, you could see, was trying for his life yesterday.
And
the referee wasn't allowing it.
Again, up there, he got away with it though. Jordan Pickford got away with it. He pushes it right to the limit, yeah, where he won't get a yellow card. It's like, oh, sorry, I just want to talk to you for a second. And he's walking out to his 6-yard. Somebody threw a bottle, didn't they? Or a pint.
But pint glass,
I've got to take it.
You can't wait there. I've got to get that, and I've got to walk the long way around the goal.
Walk to the halfway line.
And then I've got to walk back slowly, and then walk back in. All those little tiny things, right? And I know it don't seem like it's much to people, does it? But every second that you can make that player stand there over that ball, waiting for you to get into your goal, every second is a second of agony, is a second of knowing that the camera's watching, the crowd are baying for blood. That is what really starts to get inside you, and it might just make you go a little bit safer, not quite hit it as hard as what you normally would. And they're the times when Jordan Pickford makes a save.
It would have been great if we could have actually spoke to him, because obviously we had some great seats and we were right there looking at it. But I actually think he changed his mindset going into that shootout, because Sommer had his bottle and his towel in the back of the goal. And as he came out after the first penalty had gone in, Jordan picked his up and towel, and I thought it'd just give him a psyche to spend a little bit more time faffing, as Sommer were trying to do something similar, but Pickford just had a lot more about him when he were doing it, and he thrives off the energy the crowd give him.
He really does.
He's proper pumped, and wearing the England shirt for him is everything. You know what I mean? But he thrives off them moments, and as you say, he puts the guys in the opposition under a real bit of pressure.
Like
you know
you
what I
said
mean?
though, Watto, like even between penalties, when someone's attempting to save his penalty, Pickford's there with the crowd, and he is kind of interacting with the crowd. That's part of his job, isn't it? He's really getting the crowd going.
I reckon at that moment in time when it's that penalty shootout, he genuinely comes into his own. He is genuinely thinking, oh, it's showtime. It is showtime, baby. Adrenaline levels. If you could take a blood reading or sample of how much adrenaline is coursing through his body at that moment, I reckon it'll be right at the top, right at the limit. It's like he'll be shaking.
It's like he had 6 double espressos.
Exactly that. It's like he's shaking with energy.
It does have a little bit. There seems to be. Well, you played with them both, kind of guys, but like there does seem some similarities between him and Joe Hart. Doesn't there?
They're like
in terms
Tigger.
of that. Enthusiasm, that adrenaline.
Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, if there'll be a lot of young listeners that don't know who that is, right? He is this cartoon character who just had energy to burn, and he would just bounce on his tail all day long just because he just wanted to go. Like, Tigger, do you want to go and do it? Yeah, I'll do it. I haven't told you what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter, I want to do it.
Can't sit still for 2 seconds.
Exactly that.
But incredible moment for him and the team.
Watto, we've got Holland in the semi-final, and the manager, Ronald Koeman, an old colleague, friend of yours. What's going to be going through Ronald's mind?
I think if he's been watching the tournament as I know he would, and looking at England, he'll certainly not be fearing what he's seen so far. We hope that there's another England turn up, but if you think about him and the team he's got, he'll play 4-3-3. If he feels as though England were a real threat, I think he'd play 2 sitters in front of the back 4. If he feels as though he wants to be more offensive, he'll still play 4-3-3, but he'll just have 1 6 and he'll have 2 8s. So it depends on how he sees the game. My thought would be he'll probably just sit with 1 in front of the 2 centre-halves, but there'll be a fluid 4-3-3. Aki on the left, even though he's a left footer, obviously we've seen him play at centre-half predominantly, but when he were at Bournemouth, he certainly had periods when he played on the left-hand side. Whether that's their best attacking side, I'm not sure, because I really like Dumfries on the right. I think he's been phenomenal all tournament. But the way they'll play, their rotations in the middle of the park, and I think the front 3 will be fluid. Depay has been really, really good. He's not scored, but I think he's going to cause our team or our centre-half some problems, even though physicality-wise he's not got it. They've obviously got big Weghorst. If at any point they're chasing or he wants to change the tactics of the game, and he'll be a handful for whoever we play at the back. But if you flip it and think about our worries, like Kane up against Van Dijk and De Vries, and we spoke earlier, Mickey van der Ven can't even get on the team, which is, I mean, he's been a standout performer in the Premier League this year. So I think Ronald will be quietly confident in what he's achieved with that team so far.
What it does mean, though, is that we will go back to a 4-3-3 without doubt. We'll just go match it up again. Yep. It just depends on the selection there then. I think I can honestly see that it will just be Luke Shaw. I think it'll be Luke Shaw that'll come in for Kieran Trippier, and it will be, obviously Gay's back, so we'll take over from Konsa again. But I wouldn't be surprised if it would be the starting 11 again, with the exception of them two.
So look at the centre backs for Holland then. So you've got Virgil van Dijk and De Vries, right? Van der Ven on the bench. Do we honestly think at this point, we've got to have the conversation, do we honestly think Kane is the guy to lead the line? I'll throw my hat in there and say no. Because I know he has scored a couple of goals, and he is a big time player for England, but based on what we've seen so far, I think Toney would be, or Watkins would be more effective.
It would mean we'd have to play a different style of football, though. It would mean completely changing the way that we play football. If we start with an Ivan Toney up there or an Ollie Watkins, it's different to playing with Harry Kane up front. Ivan Toney, for me, every time he comes on, he makes the defenders worry. It gives them something else to worry about. We said in the game last night, didn't we, that I would love it, right, if you had a Craig Dawson or a Lewis Dunk or a big sicko, a Wout Weghorst, in the box for set pieces, for corners, You had a big Harry Maguire in the box for set pieces. Because every time we got a corner or a free kick, I'd be thinking, we got a chance here. And the crowd would sense it as well. And the crowd would get up for it and it'd be, oh, come on. But last night, any ball we put into the box, we just know, don't you? You just know. There's not even an option of us scoring a goal direct from a free kick or a corner. So that, for me, would be a different style of football that England would have to play at, and I just don't think that we are willing to change the way that we play.
I think being in the stands and watching the game, and not sat at home and watching the TV footage, and you're watching it, you can see what Harry Kane does or actually doesn't do for the team. We can't take away the fact that he's England's record goal scorer, and he, given an opportunity, 99 out of 100 is going to score. But is he doing enough really to be leading that team and leading that line? The reality from this tournament, you would have to say no. Do the two centre-halves from Holland want him to play on Wednesday night? 100% they do. Toney, difficult game for him with his physicality and running power as well. Watkins, obviously quick, nimble, running power, stretches him.
Big defenders don't want quick, nimble players. Van Dijk would rather Kane play, and then I think if Ivan Toney played, there'd be he's very physical.
Especially when Kane, again yesterday, he's coming deep so often.
So often,
And if you're the Dutch centre-backs, you're probably going, you carry on, mate.
They will do that, yeah. Well, you look at Akanji and Shah last night. They had a doddle. They had an absolute doddle last night. They didn't have anything to worry about really. And Van Dijk will just be going, yeah, go on then, sweet. You just go in there. Like I say, Van Dijk will want Kane to start. Then he would be a little bit worried about even Toney, and he would be even more worried about Ollie Watkins because of his pace. Big defenders like that don't want quick players.
So what would you do if you were Gareth Southgate and we're going into the semi-finals? Let's say Fozzie's, takes over from Gareth Southgate mid-tournament. What are you doing? How are you setting up for the semis, Ben?
This is a really tough question, because if you take Harry Kane out of the starting lineup, I would worry that it would, not deflate the other England players, but I think it would lose a little bit of a fear factor, because there's always that chance when Harry Kane gets the ball 20 yards from goal, 25 yards from goal, it drops to him in the penalty box, 6 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards. He's going to put the ball in the back of the net. He's going to put the ball in the back of the net. And I would worry that not having him in there would mean that we would lose that a little bit, because Ollie Watkins is not the most natural in there. Ivan Toney, that's not really his game. It's what they want to play. And if you want to play the style of football that we play, where it's slow and passing and build up and methodical, then Harry Kane plays. But if you want to rip the playbook up a little bit and start going a little bit more direct, start running the channels, start putting balls in behind for an Ollie Watkins, it's a different style of football, and I just don't think we'll do that.
What about you, Watto? So for me, based on how we're playing, you'd think that Ivan Toney would be the guy to kind of give the Dutch centre-halves more of a working out. But what would you do if you're Southgate?
Well, the thing is, obviously I've got a little bit more insight into how Ronald would want to prepare a team or this team. So it's all about ball possession for him. So obviously controlling the ball, but then positioning for him as well. So he were less focused on running stats. He were all about positions. So when their team are set up against us, if they position themselves properly and deal with the ball properly, he will feel as though he don't have to run as far. But if you change that over, if you can move them by having the legs and the physicality so that they're not playing in set positions, or when they rotate, they're just playing the little actions. If they've actually got some work to do off the ball and we can change their shape because they have to follow us, then their setup and the fluidity of their coaching and positioning changes. But if Harry Kane plays, we're not really changing their back four in terms of position. Yes, he'll come deep, but if they communicate well, a centre-half can come in, because unless our 10 runs on, there's nothing happening in behind. So you're not moving them enough to affect the game. And I think sometimes physicality and legs and that dynamism, like a Palmer brings when he's on, changes the game for other teams. And we don't seem to do that. But answering your question, I don't think he'll change, and I don't think I would. But it's really strange, because I feel as though it'd be better starting with one of the other two and Kane coming on when the game's gone to 60, 70 minutes and he's in a better space. But obviously, as England manager, you do that and get beat, it's shot.
Yes, but you said if you were, you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you then? Because we could all see the kind of flaws
I just think that's probably why I've never managed, but that's probably why Gareth's in the position. And everybody's whinging, because we always play safe, don't we? We always play safe and make the easy decisions. The hardest decision he would have is to drop the England captain and record goal scorer. But would it be better for this game and have him come on at 60, 70 minutes when maybe the legs are going a little bit, the game's more open? And like we said, we've played 2 sets of extra time. it might be the real killer, sensible thing to do.
Like you said, Fozzie, if we can manage to get our foot on the ball and let's say Ollie Watkins is there, and like to your point earlier on, and say just run that back line ragged for 60 or 70 minutes. Who better to come on than Harry Kane if you were looking for that ball to drop?
I totally agree. I know it won't happen. Simple as that. But two, imagine the Dutch were playing Spain tomorrow, right? The Dutch, Virgil van Dijk, all of that backline would be petrified about playing the Spanish because they know they've got players that are willing to run all over the shot. They're willing to stretch them out of position, drag them out of position, beat a man. Because if you've got a right winger or left winger or a number 10, whatever it is, to try and beat a man and get him behind, that means Virgil van Dijk or the other centre-half has to come out of position. They have to leave their slot, which they hate doing, don't they, Watto? They hate doing it. Koeman hates them doing it. But when you're playing against a team that are going to beat, it's inevitable. You have to do it. It's like a rock in a hard place. It's like I either stay in my position here and try and defend between the posts, or I come out of this position, leave a space behind me, and I try and help out my mate who's just been done by this little wizard, right? It's the most uncomfortable thing for them. But the way that we play plays into the Dutch's hands. So I think the game that we will play will be a 4-3-3. It will be Harry Kane up top. It will be Luke Shaw on the left. It will be Gay as a centre back, and it will be 0-0 at half time. It will be a little
jab.
You have a go. I'll have a go, and then something will happen in the second half to kick it off a little bit.
Right. Okay. And so when's the game?
Wednesday.
Okay. So they've got 3 games now. You've both been in camps. Obviously, Watto as a coach, Ben as a player. What are they going to be doing now for the next 3 days?
Oh, it's just recovery. It's just pure recovery. There's not really too much you can do on the training pitch now. They all know what positions they play. They all know what their strengths and weaknesses are. They'll just be looking at the opposition now. They'll be looking at that Holland team.
What's their day-to-day look like, though? So, because obviously, I know you're saying it's recovery, but it's 3 days.
Yeah, so today is definitely day 1 recovery. You normally have 2 days recovery. So today will just be a real light one. It'll be pure massages. It'll be in the pool. This is the starting 11 and the players that played like an hour or something like that. It'll be recovery, massage, pool, maybe get on the bike, spin your legs, maybe even a little jog out on the pitch or something like that. The other lads, the other 11, 12 players will get out on the football pitch. They'll have proper session. It'll be a tough session. It will be 6-a-sides. It'll be passing drills. It'll be work, a good bit of get your heart rate going. And then the next day will be day 2 recovery. So the lads that started, some of them that have got niggles and stuff, they will still have a bit of a recovery. The other ones will join in with the other lads. It will be a bit more up tempo, but they don't need to work on fitness. Their fitness levels are already top. It's just sort of tapering, ready for the game. And then the day before the game, it is just pure looking at them and
meetings on
formations, and this is what you want to do. Particularly, there might be a weakness on the Dutch team where he doesn't like to. He cheats. He doesn't get back. So when he gets forward, you have got all that space to get into, and you really need to exploit that. They're the little details where Gareth will have to really teach the lads.
And what about the coaches, Watto? So at this point, I guess that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel this deep into a tournament. So what are the coaches doing? Like by obviously daytime will take care of itself, but what's the dynamic like in the evening? What are you doing?
Well, last night for sure you'd have had your dinner, and the coaches would have gone straight into the analysis suite.
Last night?
Yeah,
Would they have had a few beers, do you reckon?
For me, you would have had a few beers and you'd have been analysing the Dutch straight away. Because even though you've not got a session today with your starting team, you need to go to bed last night clear on where we're at. So last night, they would have been in that analysis suite. They would have watched the majority of the Dutch game against Turkey. And at that point, that group of staff would have made a decision, not necessarily on our starting 11, but what shape we're going to play. You have to do.
Yeah.
You have to do. And then today, obviously, the team are getting the massages and recoveries. Obviously, a couple of the coaches, for sure, would have gone out with the other lads. The manager, Gareth, to be fair, should get down the training ground and just see the other lads, because
the manager should always be there.
He's got to know that they're training, and it's important that he's there as manager to see them training.
It's important for the lads to see him there as well, because if you're training, they call it they used to call it the Sunday bomb squad, right? Yeah. So when you have the Premier League game on a Saturday, on the Sunday is the Sunday bomb squad. It's all the players that haven't played the day before, so everybody's morale is so low. Everybody's pissed off because they haven't played. They've got to train on a Sunday. Your mate's getting a massage on the bed, taking it easy, nice and chill. You've got to go out there and slog it out and put a real hard session in. So the morale is low anyway. And if the manager doesn't come out, all them players, it's a risk that they might start sacking it off. And I know this sounds incredible. and it's England, no way would you sack it off. Subconsciously, players sack it off. But if the manager's out there and he's shouting and he's on it and he's treating it like it's a proper first team training session in the middle of the week, everybody has to give it 10 out of 10.
And is that just a case of it's human nature? It's
human
being
nature,
loved and saying, do you know what, all this hard work isn't going unnoticed.
No,
exactly that. That's exactly what it is.
It's the hardest coaching session
it's horrible,
of the week for
it's
a coach. Because the motivation levels are so poor, and obviously if the manager, just his presence lifts them 10%.
Without doubt.
But you as a coach on that day, your enthusiasm and your energy levels have to be so high, because the sessions take so much time to get going because of the way they feel. You know what I mean? They've had all the emotion of the game last night, and yet today they're out on the grass and you've got to get it going. So it's a real skill for a coach to be able to do that. So that would be the session today, and then the staff would be in the analysis suite all afternoon, looking at the Dutch and trying to see their weaknesses. And like we just said earlier, I think their weaknesses is moving their positions. So Van Dijk will never ever want to come out of his slot. He would rather a 6 go and defend it, a 10 go and defend it, rather than him come outside that box. But when that happens, there then still is space somewhere else. And that's where we've got to utilise it. And I think because Van Dijk will not want to come into them wide areas, and a 6, an 8 or a 10 will go and fill in behind the fullback, this little pocket, you know, the De Bruyne one where you get the little 3v2 and you get them balls in, you get them little flips, and all these little positions here on the corners of the box are where we'll get some good spaces. So a Foden and a Palmer, Bellingham in these type spaces will be really on the front foot and be able to create for us.
But we need them to be a confident Palmer and a confident Foden and a confident Saka that are willing to try and beat them, man. Because if we carry on playing the way we're playing, where it's methodical and build up, the Dutch are just going to chill. Honestly, they will. They'll just sit there and chill and go, this is lovely, this. It's not, you're not testing us, you're not stretching us, you're not pushing us. Just keep doing what you're doing, because you're not going to get through us, because we're world-class players.
Yeah, if we do the walk in football, they are too good at the back,
Yeah,
aren't
it
they?
is, yeah.
So we're now on Sunday. We've just booked accommodation for Dortmund.
Yep.
The journey continues. Is it too early for a little prediction for the game on Wednesday?
No, of course it's not too early for prediction. Let's
Kick
have a little
us off,
prediction.
Bobby.
I think we will just get over the line again. I think we will, and it will be very similar story to the last couple of games. It will be touchy-feely for an hour. Something will happen. They might score the spark that we need to get us going. And it will probably go to extra time again, maybe even penalties. But I think we will just get over the line, either a 2-1 win or on penalties again.
Watto?
I'm kind of the same mentality, because we talk about the coaching and what you can do. Like today, nothing. Tomorrow is a second day recovery. All you can do is walk through your team shape tomorrow. So if we decide to play 4-3-3, basically you'd have the other 11 set up in the Dutch shape, and you just look how it looks on the field for you. And you're going to walk through your patterns, and you're going to walk through attacking and defending set plays tomorrow. And actually that probably suits to what's going to happen on Wednesday, because I think the 2 games that we've had that have both gone to extra time leads to the Dutch being fresher and maybe a little bit more sprightly. But I think we've just got that tournament mentality, and I think it'll go all the way again. I think it'll be a draw in extra time, and I think we'll go to penalties. And we'll be relying on Pickford and his water bottle.
I'm going a bit brighter than that.
Don't do it. Do not even dare.
I'm not going to say 3-0.
Right, so we do match day vlogs, right? We do the match day vlogs. We did a vlog last night. It's over on the Cycling GK website. Go and give it a watch. It's a banger of a video. It really is. And every match we do a prediction for all the lads. And Tom every week says 3-0 to England, and we just laugh at him because it is pathetic, is what it is.
Yeah, but my heart sometimes overrules my head. But do you know what? Genuinely though, seriously, I think if Luke Shaw gets picked, the dynamic of the team changes quite significantly. And if Luke Shaw gets picked, I think we're going to do a little bit better than we have done. And I'm going 2-0 England within 90 minutes. So I'm going positive.
That would be an incredible thing, Tom, and I'm going to have everything crossed that you're right.
Right, lads, what are you saying? Jamie, Luke? 1-1 Lukey?
2-1 England.
2-1 England.
You jumping on my bandwagon for? Wicked, is that it? Can we talk about penalties quickly? Can we just give a shout out to all the lads that stood up there and took a penalty under that pressure?
Great penalties.
Fantastic penalties. Really, really fantastic penalties. That pressure. knowing the history of England in penalty shootouts, and to do it in that moment was something special. You know, particularly Trent, who scored the winning one.
Rifled it.
Obviously had a tough tournament, but to step up there and be the final guy to take that penalty with such confidence and to rifle it right in the top corner.
Everyone had their own little story, didn't they? So it was like Palmer,
Saka,
took the first.
Saka, well done.
How old is he? Palmer, 20, 21?
21, yeah.
And he's rattled it in. Saka's got previous.
Bellingham's still young.
Rolled
Saka,
it
Trent,
in.
It's just, it was phenomenal.
But
Fantastic.
Ivan
penalty.
Toney, talk about, I'm not, excuse the language, but talk about a set of bollocks.
It
lads,
was incredible.
in a quarter-final,
Lovely,
when
Anna.
you've played not a lot of football.
Yeah.
That takes some nerve, right?
Takes some nerves. That's exactly what he does, and it's good to see that when the pressure really comes on you, nothing changes. That was a bit for me, that nothing changes. He is what he is, and he's the real deal when it comes to that moment right there. He's the real deal. Well done, lads. Enjoyed that. That was world class. So we're going through to the final then in Berlin on Sunday. That was a football fill-in. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Quiz time! It's
Yay! What a little Brucey bonus.
Come on, Jiminy.
Okay, we're back here for the quiz this week. Are you guys ready for the
we
quiz?
are.
Yes, we are, Jiminy. Come on, Quizmaster.
First question. Who won the FA Cup in 1912?
Barnsley.
Hey, Watto!
Oh,
Ben, come on.
oh
have a word
my
with your boy.
God. What a start.
Okay, that was just a joke. We're just trying to get you guys to bite on that one.
It worked.
Was that an actual question?
No, it wasn't a question. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a question.
Well done.
We
just
have
thought
to
we'd
get
catch you guys
Barnsley
out.
in on the Euros, you know what I
Well
mean?
done. I like that one. Well played.
Oh,
There
come
we
on. Fame at last for the lads.
Okay, so 0-0-0. Question 1. What is the slogan for this Euro 2024 tournament?
United by football.
Correct. The correct answer. Damn it. I was trying to get that into
You've
your
done
guys'
too
head.
many sure adverts.
Yes.
Question 2. Which team has reached the most Euro finals?
Germany.
What did you say?
Spain.
Italy.
No.
Germany.
Germany is the correct answer. Yeah. Germany have gone to 6 Euro finals and won 3. Needs a lost 3 as well.
It does.
Which Dutch player was top goal scorer in
Gakpo.
Euro 1988?
Van Basten.
Van Basten's the correct answer. Ben on 2.
You gone early there, mate, and you.
I'm trying a different tactic.
Career path question.
Oh, we like them.
Ben's
Good at them,
Ben's
man.
good at these, yeah. Ben's good at these.
I have played for PSG, PSG2, Juventus, Bayern Munich on loan, and Bayern Munich.
PSG.
I have played for PSG, PSG2, Juventus, Bayern Munich on loan, and Bayern Munich.
It's not him, but
Give you clues, a French player.
Hernandez.
Nope.
Thuram.
Nope.
I know nothing about Bayern Munich. Frenchman.
5.
Bayern Munich. French.
Yep, 4. 3.
He's a Frenchman.
Two.
He's Bayern Munich.
I don't
1.
know. Good. I don't know.
Kingsley Coman.
Obviously. Man alive.
That trophy's his
Obviously.
So no one got the answer to that, unfortunately. So the scores are 2-0-1.
Thanks.
Question 5. Which team is the lowest ranking by FIFA
Georgia.
to make it to the Euro 2024 quarterfinals? Georgia did not make it to the quarterfinals.
Slovakia.
No, they didn't make it to the quarterfinals. They made it to the round 16.
Switzerland.
Correct.
Nope, it's Turkey. Turkey.
I went like you. Thought I'd go really early with Georgia. I thought it's a win all day, wasn't it?
It was.
It's Turkey. They're ranked 42 by FIFA.
Oh my God.
I thought that would be Switzerland.
Switzerland is like 32.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
Went very early.
Question 6. Who won the last Euros in the 20th century? Who won the last Euros in the 20th century?
Germany.
Nope.
France.
France is the correct answer.
Knew
They
it.
won it in the 2000 Euros.
2000,
yeah.
yeah. They did it. Didn't they do World Cup Euros?
I think
World
so,
Cup?
maybe, yeah. Tripsy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Ben is on 3. Question 7. What did the Romania goalkeeper kick when the Netherlands scored their
Trainer.
third goal in the round of 16?
What?
A shoe. Yeah, is the correct answer.
Trainer.
Oh, well, yeah. I thought you meant like a coat.
What kind of shoe was it, Jay?
I don't know what shoe it was. It like Axel
It was,
Aragato.
Yeah, it was a pair of
It
trainers.
looked like Axel Aragato.
It looked like
No,
it,
but
yeah.
you seen when he cut inside, he's like, and then he
Yeah.
scored.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
Didn't say Aragato, so
No, it's fine. No, you've
Trainer's
got-
a win, Jimmy.
Trainer,
Come
shoe,
on.
Trainer,
it's a
take
win.
trainer.
Come on.
Yep. 3-1-1. Question 8. Which country has got to the most Euro finals and not won the trophy?
England.
No.
Italy.
Holland.
No and no. The answer is Serbia. Serbia got to the 1960 and the 1968 finals and didn't win the trophy.
Oh, that's a tough question. That,
question.
Jimmy.
Real tough question.
That's a tricky one. Still.
Anyway,
Question 9. Who holds the longest Euro winning run, which includes
Spain.
qualifying? Not Spain.
England.
Not England.
I can't lose, lads.
he can-
You've shot your bolt early doors.
Yeah.
Can you read the question again, please?
Who
Jamie?
holds the longest Euro winning run, which includes qualifying?
What did you say? Not telling you. Germany.
Spain.
No, the answer is Italy. They won 15 games in a row from 23rd of March 2019 to the 6th of July 2021.
It's
Heavy.
So the winning streak ended when they drew 1-1 to Spain in the semi-finals in 2020.
Yeah, really good.
But they won on penalties, but it doesn't count.
Well,
Question 10. Which country was the first to win the Euro Championship without winning any group stage matches?
Denmark.
No. Which country was the first to win the Euro Championship without winning
Greece.
any group stage matches? Not Greece.
Good guess.
Yes, good guess.
Good guess. I don't know.
I think I know the answer to this.
Go for it.
Portugal.
Portugal is the correct answer.
Well done.
They got 3
That's good knowledge.
draws. 3 draws when they won it.
Was there a tie-break question?
There was a tiebreak
Come
question.
on, do it, do it, do it.
Is
do it.
this
Can we double points for
Can we do
this?
next goal wins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next-
You want to do next goal wins?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
go on.
4-1 up.
But
yeah.
yes then.
No,
Yeah,
3
it's fine.
man you are.
If it,
Fine, yeah.
Is it next goal wins?
Yeah, go on, I don't care.
Okay. Can I put bets on who's going to get this final one correct?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's a Barnsley question
No,
or something.
I think Tom's going to get this correct.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, obviously it's a Spain question.
Is it Wolves then?
No, it's not Wolves, not...
Go on then.
Who is the youngest player ever to feature at a Euros?
Jamal.
Lamine Yamal. It's the correct answer.
I think Watto nicked that one.
Watto
I
did
think it
nick
was
that.
Tom.
But,
Oh!
I think it was Tom.
Only because you said I'm betting money
yeah,
that Tom was
Tom's
gonna get
getting
it.
this one right, so here we go.
It was Watto, Luke.
I think it was
Yeah.
Watto. Well, you did only say his surname.
Yeah, it don't matter. You thraptors.
How old was he, Jay?
The Raptors.
16 years old and 338 days.
16 years old, nearly 17. Wow.
Not
Yeah.
bad, is it?
He'll not be
bad.
playing with any fear come that semi-final.
I heard the other day, I don't know if this is true, and my son told me that his dad, Lamine Yamal's dad, is 34.
That's ridiculous.
Did you also see the picture
Ah,
with
this is a very
Messi
good
and
one.
Lamine
Messi
Yamal? Like,
bathing Yamal when he's 1 year old.
for a charity calendar.
In
Yeah.
charity
And
calendar.
it was Lamine Yamal.
It's an interesting calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. That's the football filling. You lot. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the quiz. We'll see you next week. All the best.